Just to update you guys, I've had to reset my password with Zoom, apparently.
Oh no.
It always runs so smoothly, but it's because my brand new, relatively new 2-year-old laptop died last night. So I
Oh,
scrambled to use, here we go, scrambled to use my 10-year plus laptop.
2-year-old laptop. That's bad. That's a bit.
yeah. For two and it to fry like that.
Yeah.
That's not good.
No.
Could be
Did you
worse. You could
build
use the
something?
Commodore 64.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Micah.
I still have the Genesis.
I
Place-
knew I shouldn't have played with that voodoo doll last night.
Oh. You weren't supposed to say anything.
I love
Oh, Holly's here again. She's gonna become a regular.
it. Ollie's here. Da-da, da-da-da-da.
Hey Bill, I did a picture of your dog for you.
Ooh.
I can't see it.
Neither can I. Oh, it won't there.
I saw it.
Put it in front of you. Put it in front of you. There you go.
I did.
Oh,
This won't work.
Oh.
That's all right. There's the head.
Nice.
Yay.
See, isn't tech wonderful?
yes.
There, my Zoom sign-in password has been changed.
But does it work?
Ah, there's the rub.
Yeah, I hate when I'll create a new password and then I forget to write it down somewhere.
Yep.
Even 5 minutes goes by and I'm like, I'll type it in wrong and it'll say wrong, wrong password or whatever.
Or when you make a new one because you forgot the old one, they're like, you
Right.
can't reuse the same one.
Right, yeah.
But you weren't letting me get
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, please enter your old password.
Yes.
What do you mean? I don't remember my old password.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I'm here.
Exactly.
I've called up companies and like, look, I can't do this. So you need to do it for me. They do, but it's like, oh man.
Just make your password your password.
Right, so the secret of that is if you're logged into the account and want to change the password, it generally asks you for the old one first. If you're not logged into the account and you press the forgotten password button,
Mhm.
that should never ask you for the old password. That should send you an email with a link.
Huh.
Okay, finally I am logged in with my new password into Zoom, Kevin, and I've forgotten why.
You're going to try and make sure that this actual event is linked to your streaming properly.
Right. So where would I go?
You go to the events page,
There.
edit the event, and one of the tabs at the top will be streaming.
Lovely. If my laptop wasn't slow, it's slowing down even more. Close some of these tabs. Excuse me. I should have written down my password as well.
Yeah.
Just pretend that it's 2015 and it will feel like it's a normal period of time. It won't feel slow because that's how it was. Never mind.
I've gone to events and sessions and there's no options
Yeah, let me go. Let me look on my
It
account.
only it will only let me buy stuff, even though I own.
Buy.
It's
Events.
maybe profile. Do you think profile might
Ooh, have this.
or
Ooh,
meetings?
I gotta do that. I already have it sitting in the cart. The trick is to let it sit in the cart for a day or two and then they'll give you a discount. Oh, we noticed this. We're gonna give you 10%.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I do that. I do that with
I always feel if I
On meetings. No, you ought to go to meetings, not events, Michael.
Ah,
I
okay.
do that with
Coincidentally, I am there at meetings.
one
Now
of my
go to edit the current event,
Oh, really? Okay.
and then the tabs at the top you'll have details, polls and quizzes, and live streaming.
All right, let us then. How do I edit the current event? It
You
says,
just click on it.
oh, I see. I see. There. Oh, it won't let me. Okay, let's just click on
Is this going to be shown at Blackpool?
it. Ah, live streaming. That's one of the tabs. Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, live streaming allows you the aggravation for yourself and for others. Now, configure custom streaming. Is that where I should go? Let's try it. Oh, there we go.
Why not?
Why not? That's correct. Live streaming page. Oh dear. Okay. Which would be this. We're almost there, kids. We are almost there.
Are we there yet? Are we there yet? There yet?
I need the washroom. I'm hungry. Can we stop for food?
Pull this car over.
so maybe till it's gone around.
Had that happen. Thanks to my brothers.
Let's make life a little bit more interesting than that, shall we?
Okay, I've done it. So, you think I wonder. Okay, let's try it now. Oh, John's iPhone. Yay. Okay. If this doesn't work, we'll just start because we've been recording for a while.
Yeah, this is what I got the other day. It's
Here, yay.
one of my favorite puzzles.
Oh
They
yeah, I
have,
like that one.
they have to get this stack over here, but you can only move one piece
One at a time. Yeah.
Right.
Okay,
And-
so nothing, yeah,
You
nothing.
can't have a bigger piece on top of a smaller piece. The big piece has to always be underneath. So
Yeah.
it's something like 148 moves to get all of this over here.
Huh.
But
Okay, so we're just gonna do it without the live stream because I would probably have to shut down the Zoom, start it again and have everyone join us
Yeah.
for it to
Yeah.
take effect. So no worries. This will air all over the place and I will send you links, Sarah, before the end of our day. We're about 8 hours behind you guys in the UK. So
Oh wow.
I know. So yeah, let's I'm just gonna do it the way we normally would.
Right. Well, I'll hit the stop button. Try.
You can, sure. You may remember me from my television shows in the 1980s and 90s, and now I host 2 regularly live-streamed virtual magic shows. One is a showcase for some of the greatest magicians in the world, and the other is a talk show featuring some of the most inspiring conjurers of our times. Welcome now to Magical People. And welcome to this edition of Magical People Live. Myself, Dr. Michael, and
Lady C or Cheryl.
Cheryl, or Lady Chameleon, as she is known professionally. And Cheryl, don't we have an incredible show this time? I'm really looking forward to it.
Of course we do.
We have a very, very exciting guest, but before we get to her, let's try an experiment of the mind. And I'm going to require, perhaps we can get Tommy Burnett, the great Tommy Burnett, up.
Yay!
There we are, yay. How are you this day, Tommy?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you guys?
All right.
Wonderful, wonderful. It's just great to be here, and life keeps getting better and better if you don't stop to think about it. But regardless, we are going to try an experiment of the mind. I've got my little chalk slate here. I believe that Lady Chameleon Cheryl should have her slate and chalk nearby as well. And I will be using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not there, is it? It keeps vanishing along with you. The wonders of green screen and Zoom. So in each of these envelopes, I've prepared a different author from the 1800s. Yes, Poe, Edgar Allan Poe. And we'll just replace it into each envelope. They're in no particular order. We have H.G. Wells. Yay. We have, and believe me, when we performed this live the other night, nothing got slowed down at all when we've just gone to black. Nothing got slowed down at all in front of a live audience when I went through each of these things. So we've got 7, but I'll just go through a few. There's Mary Shelley.
Mary Percy Shelley, yeah.
The author of
Frankenstein.
That's right, the modern Prometheus. Indeed. And I actually asked them as if I was teaching school what each person, here's Jules Verne, if you will. I asked my audience members, and surprisingly, they knew. Most of the people knew who all of these authors were. I think you get the idea. Robert Louis Stevenson, and so forth. I did take the time to laminate them simply because I could. No, simply because I like increasing the longevity of the pictures. And so,
I have my laminator right here. So I know what you mean. Lamination is life. Lamination is life. Okay, sorry.
I love it. You know, when I first got my laminator, everybody got nervous for some reason. The cat started to run away. It's like, no, I'm gonna laminate you. Everything's all cool. So we're just gonna mix these up quite a bit. There'll be a couple of processes just to prove to everybody they are truly in no particular order.
Okay.
And, let's go down here a bit. And yeah, I think we'll do it this way.
Well, magicians are sort of hacking into.
There. I think that's easy for you to see. I'm going to ask Tommy
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
all stop anywhere.
Stop.
Here or here? Here.
One, one more to your left and then one more. Yep, that one.
Oh, cool. All right. And as I said, they're in no particular order. I'm sure glad you picked this one though, because it was right in the middle of everything. So with this one, we will attempt to do a bit of work, a bit of not divination per se, but I'm going to ask Cheryl to focus, and I'm going to focus. You can tell these are completely opaque. There's no way we could know what's in there at this point. So, Cheryl, if you will, try to focus on the identity of the person, the author, within the confines of this envelope, and perhaps what he or she did right. And I will attempt, it's actually quite interesting, and I'll show you why later, if this did indeed work. So I've committed my prediction to the written form. I do have it here. I don't know, Cheryl, if you have written anything. Did you pick up any impression?
I have written something.
Okay. I hope it's not somebody's birth date. That's a whole different act. Okay.
No.
Let's do this. 1, 2, 3. We'll turn our slates around. And
Oh, I don't think so.
no, not this time.
Oh, son of a gun.
Really?
No, I did not get that one this time.
Ah, that's interesting. That's interesting. Not the but I did get Robert Louis Stevenson, and hopefully, oh yes, okay, there was a moment. It is Robert Louis Stevenson. I did pick up on that, and this is actually the very first time that happens, Cheryl.
If he,
Just proves.
if he could get me, if he could get affect me by mistake, because I was thinking Treasure Island. Oh,
As opposed
Could have been my
to-
cold too. It's
That's
affecting.
right. That's right. But that proves to everybody it's not 1,000%. Thought reading is sort of an ongoing skill, if you will. But at least we got 50% of it, and I think that's pretty darn good. I thank you so much, Cheryl. I know we'll get that right next time. And
Yeah.
the great Tommy Burnett, thank you.
Thank you, Tommy.
Yay! All right. Yeah, you see, if it was the time, and it will be the time in March, I would say Mercury is retrograde. That's why the computer died. That's why we got our wires crossed and all that sort of thing. But speaking of getting wires crossed, oh, I've just gotten my eyes crossed. I'd love to introduce to you our very, very special guest this show. And as I said off camera before we went to air, I happened upon by accident her Instagram page. She was doing a reading. It resonated for me. It felt so right. And I'll show you guys why in a minute. Let's welcome to the fold Sarah Kay from the UK.
Yay, Sarah.
And her beautiful little kitty. What's your kitty's name, Sarah?
Kovu.
Really?
Kovu from The Lion King. My daughter named him.
Yep.
Ah,
Yeah.
beautiful,
Yes.
beautiful. Very cute. Looks very much like our little Chloe. And someone else here has a cat, a black cat named Chloe. Just about everyone has black cats, which is kind of interesting. So let's chat. I've been excited to get to know you a wee bit. I only know you from Instagram. I almost said Facebook, but you're not on Facebook. When did you first know that you had a gift?
Okay, so I was about 15 years old and I read somebody's cards and I don't even think I had the cards. I can't remember if I had the cards, but I told them, because we were all sat in a room smoking pot. You know, I was young. I don't smoke anymore, but back then, you know, I was experimenting, and we were just sitting there, and I observed him, and I said to him, "You think these are your friends, but one day one of them are going to stab you in the back." And literally about a week or two later, his best friend went up to him in the pub and literally stabbed him in the back with a knife. But I was speaking metaphorically,
Yeah.
like they're not your friends, like there's, you know, but that happened. So that was my first experience, and yeah, that's how it started.
It's wonderful. That's something that just comes naturally. When you're reading tarot, I've noticed, and this was a technique that just happens for me occasionally, is that I'm shuffling the cards in however manner, and one or two or 10 or three tend to just pop out. And I don't know about you, I suspect it's the same. That's your cue. It's like, okay, someone's trying to give me a message here about that person. Is that, would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, that's what happens with me. They just pop out. I feel like it's more authentic when it happens that way. It feels like it is meant to be. So
Yeah.
I feel like life is like, when things happen, it's all meant to be, and it's the same with the cards. So when they come out, it's because they're meant to. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that technique. For me, it happens occasionally. It's probably one of my spirit guides or whatever saying, hey, dummy, have a look. Here, this is pertinent to the reading you're doing. Oftentimes, though, I'll do a formal spread. Actually, I don't read cards anymore. That was in my private practice. But when I did read cards, I'd use the Celtic cross spread. I'm sure you're familiar with that. I would use formal spreads. And then really, it was just a formality because the imagery that I was getting would help me with the messages. Apparently, I'm clairaudient, clairvoyant, clairsentient, all those fancy words. And I suspect you are. Do you know those terms? Are you familiar with them?
Yes, I do. Yes. I'm completely aware of those things. I think most of us do possess it, but I think it's a matter of kind of being in that space, you know, and
Yes.
yeah, it's I think it comes to people at different stages in their lives. Some maybe later, some maybe never in this life, but I think we all have that ability, but it's just tuning into it. And yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was always gifted. I didn't know that I was. My mom was. She never formally read cards or anything, but it kind of runs on my mom's side of the family. And I ignored it largely going to college and busy with other pursuits like music and females and that sort of thing. So I largely ignored it until I went on a journey. And I didn't realize until the last 15 years or so when I got my degrees that I was a mystic because approaching age 30, I wanted tangible proof of the existence of God. I'd always known God existed. Look around you. There's miracles everywhere in nature and all that sort of thing. So for me, my route to making contact with the divine was meditation. And I found if you're meditating for 30 or more years, you can't help but open up a channel, if you will, and raise your vibration. I find that raising one's vibration brings you into different areas of your life. Have you found the same?
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, it's probably always been that way. Yeah, even at such a young age, because when I was younger, we weren't, you know, the internet wasn't a thing. We got things by word of mouth and reading, and I was always interested in things that other people wasn't. You know, it's like they were the sleeping lions, and I was always really keen on knowing about the unknown, and like you, like questioning, well, really wanting to see the evidence of God. And Yeah,
Yeah.
but like it is there, you know, and then you begin you realize that eventually it's everywhere, and so yeah.
Absolutely. Would you say, and right off the bat, it's been my experience, but it's fun speaking with other people, like-minded or like-hearted people, about this sort of thing. Um, the more, the differences between a psychic and a mystic. I found the more I was searching for God and the closer I was experiencing and feeling and whatnot and knowing that we are all one and the same, really. We just mentally choose to separate ourselves, but really who made us? The infinite, right? We are infinite inside. But I find that, or have found that the more I was searching, the more psychic I became, the more my gifts, if you want to call them that, evolved. And I'm very grateful for that. And my first experience with a physical, tangible thing was the tarot. A female friend of mine gave me my first deck a long time ago, probably in the 80s. And she was the best tarot card reader in Winnipeg, which is in Canada, where I resided for about 13 years. But I found there's no power. A lot of people believe that there's a physical power, they have to fear the imagery and all that. But if you take a psychological perspective, which I have to also because of my training and background, Carl Jung said that everything is images, everything is symbology, and the tarot might touch something on a subconscious level for us. I tend to believe that. When I teach tarot, I don't go into, I kind of dismiss superstitions surrounding that. For example, people have issues with the death card or the hanged man or the tower, which looks scary and looming, but they're really just transitions. And so whenever I do have a chance to teach the tarot, which isn't too often, I did have an opportunity recently to do that. But I find that you have to dismiss any kind of negative superstitions. Did you find that people that you read or have encountered in your life have had negative attitudes or fear even
Oh, yeah.
around the tarot?
Yeah, but I think that's because some tarot readers will read the death card and will go, oh, someone's going to die, you know, so people probably are rightly scared because of those kind of experiences with the wrong readers. But I always feel like there's a placebo effect to it as well. You probably understand this from the mentalist perspective, where, you know, if you plant that seed into somebody, then bad things might happen because they're thinking negatively or they're expecting something negative to happen. So I will always try to keep it positive because I don't want to be putting somebody in a negative mindset. So it's about building somebody's confidence and about lifting their spirits and making them feel good about it at the end, because then they come away and create good things. Or so that's
Absolutely. I want to share with everybody, I found a clip, with your permission, I clipped it, and it was a series of readings you did around Valentine's last year. That was completely coincidental, or was it? And I came across it, and I thought, oh my goodness, we're coming up to Valentine's, and here's this that Sarah had posted. So I took out my part, and it's my sign is Cancer, or moon child, moon children. I think they call them that in the US, but in other parts of the world, we're Cancerians. And so I'd like to share with all of you right now a reading Sarah did, not for me specifically, but for the zodiac sign Cancer, if we can do that.
Oh, okay. Who are they? This could be somebody that lives far away or who isn't able to give you 100% of their time, you know. It might cause you some upset that they are that they are not able to fully give you what you feel like you need. The universe doesn't always give you what you want, it gives you what you need. So, you know, you've got the Six of Swords. It's moving into a more harmonious situation. You've got the Nine of Cups, and it is being surrounded by people that love you. I need to take some more cards to get a clearer view of what's going on here. Six of Cups. This is what I was gathering. There's someone from the past, okay? And this could be recent, this could be years ago. It's somebody perhaps that you probably haven't let go of. They might live far away, but for some reason you've not been happy about the fact you've probably not together. And it was quite rocky in the past. I mean, like unhealthy, toxic, unbalanced. But it seems that they're going to come back with better energy, according to these cards. Oh my god. The Tower. Wow. Let me just decipher these cards. You've got the Star and the Four of Cups. There is hope. There is hope. This person holds you back. Like all unsteady foundations, they must crumble down. So there was an imbalance here with this relationship. And remember, an X is an X for a reason. It was tumultuous. There was so much turbulence. There was so much fire. And it would take your motivation away. It would make you feel like, what's the point? Like it would just drain you. It was a draining relationship for you. And you need to put the energy in where it's meant to be, and that's within you. Okay, because otherwise you're just going to be missing opportunities because it holds you back. So past is past for a reason, an X is an X for a reason. I watched a programme last night. I can't remember what it was called, it was dubbed. It was based in South America, Peru, I think. And this is young girl, and she was dumped by her ex. And he'd call her up every now and again and be like, oh, I miss you. And the next day he'd be like, oh, that was a mistake. And they'd upset her again. And then he wanted to get back with her. And she realised that it wasn't what she wanted, really. You know, she wouldn't have wanted him because she had been rejected by him. And then when he wanted to be with her, she had to make all these sacrifices and he was making none. She realised her life was quite happy without him. You know, she had her own journey and her own path to go on. And I feel like that energy is there for you as well. So watch out for that ex or that person who has probably might have hurt you in the past. I feel like somebody has hurt you in the past. And I feel like they only hold you back. And it's only ever going to be like a toxic energy. But I feel like you are going to be aware of that and you're going to have this reborn energy about you where you do realise that perhaps that isn't what you want anymore. That is for the Cancer. Now I'm going to read.
And there we go. Wow. I was quite amazed how pertinent and how relevant that was. Sarah, let's bring up Cheryl if we can as well. I felt like we were ignoring her, and I had this feeling she really wanted to ask some questions or contribute. So actually, Sarah, you don't know, and how could you, because you don't know me, how very relevant that reading from last year is. Just about everything that you said either is real or has happened since. It's a friend that's been in my life more than 30 years, but no need to go on about it, but it is important to acknowledge for you that, wow. And every time I probably needed a message, I was guided to go to Instagram, which I do anyway. And it's like, oh, she's got another reading. I better check it out. I better see what's going on. Do you find you get that sort of feedback from people?
Yes, a lot. But I also find that the tarot is designed in a way to relate generally to a lot of people anyway. Like that, everything about the tarot is universal, it's timeless, and it's relatable all the time to everybody at some point. But I mean, yeah, so a lot of people, it always resonates. I do my own cards and it resonates because it always resonates, but I don't know why. I don't know. I mean, I understand the generality of it, where it is a general reading, but not everybody is going through heartache. I find that sometimes people go to the tarot when they're going through a heartache, but then when they're not going through that heartache anymore, that tarot reader that they're going to, it doesn't serve them anymore when they're over that situation. Yeah, so I think it serves people for a certain amount of time, and yeah.
Do you find as well, and feel free to jump in, Cheryl, anytime, do you find that I have found that because I worked in a metaphysical store for about 7 years, 2 days a week there doing readings and some healings as well. And people do go through phases, but people can get obsessed a little bit with it too. There was one person in particular, I think there were 5 of us. I don't remember how many readers there were in the shop, but I looked in the book because I could, the appointment book, and it's like the same person is seeing a different reader every single day and is wondering. One of her questions to me was, she seems to be, her finances are dwindling. And I suspect that might have been a contributing factor, but really there were other reasons for that. She had a gambling addiction. I didn't pick up on that at all until, she kept saying, oh, I've just come from the casino, or I'm heading over to the casino right after this. And I started to question other things and eventually dismissed her as my client in a good way. She didn't take it in a good way, but I felt I can't help her. A reading is not what she needs.
That's what's happened with me a lot. It's sometimes people come to the tarot and they want to hear something that you're not telling them.
Yes.
And that's sometimes why they will just they just keep hearing the tarot until they get what it is they want to hear. And it doesn't work like that. So I've had to lose people because I can't give them what they want. They want to be told that someone loves them, or little things like that, and it doesn't work like that.
Absolutely. Have you had problems in the past? Let's say you had a similar situation where someone is coming for hope, and a number of things have gone wrong in their life. I don't believe that there's a right or a wrong in that regard. I think things happen because they're supposed to, and there's always a blessing in any of those things. And sometimes you don't have to dig too far to find them. But regardless, did you ever find that, say, a relationship of many years or not so many years broke up, and there were other things that have gone wrong according to this person, and they're just coming to you for a good word? They just want to feel better, but you're not seeing it in their reading. How do you handle that?
I mean, there has been some readings where it's really difficult to read because of where it's not all light and roses. How do I handle that? It's about perspective. So it's about looking at situations in in a way that can be resolved, in a way that can, like, it's just temporary, you know, it's not the be all end all, like things can get better, or yeah, and yeah, so that's how I handle it. I just like if it's a really bad reading, I can say that it is just this temporary 5 minutes, you know, like this, within 5 minutes you have the past, present and future. So yeah, so
Right. Right. It's interesting though. One of the things I loved about that vocation, if you will, are meeting people. I'm not saying this to brag. I'm grateful that I've done more than 10,000. I do my own income tax books, my books, so I have to keep strict attention to everything. And over the years, over about 20 years or so, I've done more than 10,000 readings. That also includes healings, Reiki and prana and other disciplines as well, as a clinical hypnotherapist too. So I find that sometimes if something isn't working right in their life, and we've both deduced it's not a reading that you need, I might refer them to someone else, not as a reader, but say who might have a different modality or a different discipline. And have you found that you needed to do that as well?
I have done, like with spirituality, like when I've done face-to-face readings, it always, but a lot of the time, most of the time, it is always about somebody who's passed away. And I didn't want to go into the medium territory. I'd never wanted to do that. But sometimes it comes out in the cards.
Yes.
And I haven't gone that way. They're seeing it. The other person who I'm reading for, they'll be the ones that will see it. And that's, you know, I'll give them that. That's what they want. And sometimes I will see it as well. And it's magical. It's insane when that happens. But sorry, what was your question was? Oh yeah, spiritually speaking, like I have recommended certain spiritual paths, like Dolores Cannon, you know, with the souls, when people have lost children and when they're struggling to come to terms with things like that, I might suggest Dolores Cannon. Or yeah, usually, you know, I don't think about what I'm going to say. It just comes from, sometimes I feel like it's not me talking.
Yes.
The stuff that comes out of a reading, things are said that I may have never said, you know, or and it just comes and it feels like I'm a soul connecting with other souls. It's on a different level.
Yes.
So my intellect doesn't really speak, so I can't really remember what comes out of it, because it's not, I don't feel like it's me.
I totally can relate to that many times, and especially if I've had a day of 10 readings. I've always turned down any more than that the shop would give me. Obviously, the more readings I would do, they take a percentage, so they make money. But my cutoff point was 10 readings in a day. And I find the same thing. Like even after one reading, I don't remember what I've said, because in essence, I think it's fair to say we're channeling something, and what's coming through us, you know, is said, and hopefully it helps. Hopefully it guides people, but I'll always, or used to always, give them choices. Like, I guess I've been blessed in that when I'm doing a reading or they ask me a question, I'll be given 3 or 4 possibilities, legitimate possibilities of directions they can take. And that would seem to be enough for them, rather than me telling them. I would sort of detach myself somewhat and say, well, you can do this or this or this or that. And if you do this or this or this or that, this and this and that is going to happen. It's up to you. And I wasn't doing that on purpose. I wasn't doing that to not take responsibility, but that's what I was given to share. And that's pretty much how it's always worked for me. It's kind of like, well, what's in their greatest interest? You pick. This is what might happen, or this is what could happen. And I did
That-
get drawn a lot into mediumship. Do you find that you've consciously avoided mediumship, or it's just not your gift?
No, I consciously avoided it because like I don't like the idea of preying on people's vulnerabilities, and I think that is one of the biggest vulnerabilities, grief and loss. And so yeah, I've deliberately avoided it, and if it comes out, it's just natural and not planned. But I find that it's difficult when you're reading for somebody, if you've never read for them before and you don't know them, understanding what level of understanding they have of what you're saying. So every reading is so different, because some people aren't they don't understand spirituality at all.
Yeah.
The level of the vibrational levels are all different. So some people, you can have that deep conversation with and say certain things to, and guidance. But other people, it will completely go over their head, and it has to be said in a completely more simple. So it's the wording in readings are completely different with different people. Yeah.
Absolutely. You bring up a good point, which I probably should have brought up earlier. I don't know if you've noticed or where you've worked, but having worked for many years in a metaphysical shop, there's different personalities, different readers, and certain people will be drawn for certain messages to certain ones of us. So in other words, generally 18 to 21-year-old male or female are drawn to me for some reason, but I won't accept them. I'll refer them to one of the other readers, and so forth. When I've organized psychic fairs for about 5 years, I've made sure that all the readers in my collective, if you will, were different and would attract the right person to them, which they do anyway. So there was quite a variance of age, there was quite a variance of sex, there was quite a variance of attitude, dress, vibration, energy, if you will. And if someone came into the room and the room was filled with like 10 readers, I'd usually be able to guide the potential client, the potential person to the right person. So did you find that you get a wide variety of people or certain types?
Online, mainly men, but in person it's a wide variety. Young girls, older women, older men, young there has been young men, less young men, but wide variety. But sometimes there's a connect, sometimes there's not a connect. But I always try my best to give them what I can, because I always feel they must have come to me for a reason. There must be something that can come out of it. Sometimes the reading has been completely flat, and I don't know why. And really, I should have probably said this. I don't think that I'm the right person for you right now. But that's something that, I probably could have done. But no,
Fascinating.
yeah.
Have you switched decks, or have you used the same deck or decks throughout your career, if you will?
I've tried to switch decks, but it's really difficult when I've connected with a deck.
Yes.
I really struggle using any others. So I've had to change decks when I've lost cards, but generally, like, I try to stick to the same decks. And some read meanings will be different in different decks. So but that's when you take your own initiative, isn't it, with the card? And
Yes. Very good. And do you know, if I say the term oracle cards, do you know what I'm referring to?
yes.
Okay. So tarot cards or oracle cards?
I prefer tarot because
the imagery is more clear, it's more traditional. Whereas with oracle cards, they're gorgeous, many of them, and gilded edges and all that. but can you really read with a unicorn deck, or can you really read with abstract? Sometimes one can. Imagery. No, for me, I agree with you that traditional tarot and traditional tarot imagery is very, very good. When I teach, I use the Rider-Waite deck because I find it's very clean, it's very obvious, as opposed to I have preferences to the Carrie Yale deck from, I think it's 15th or 16th century Milan, and there were actual paintings and commissions that were commissioned by royalty in Italy a long time ago, and they've been reduced down to a full deck, mostly full, and those resonate to me energetically and whatnot when I do read, but I don't. I'm too busy to do readings. I'm not doing that anymore, but I can love it and respect it and understand its place for people. It can be very, very healing. You know, I switched over to being a clinical hypnotherapist, and I found the techniques used there provided more, well, we'll say different results than the tarot did. The tarot for me provided, and this isn't judgment, I'm just comparing temporary solutions, if you will, unless the person is a little bit more open-minded, unless the person is a little bit more spiritual, then they take the reading on a number of levels.
Yeah.
You agree? Have you found that?
Absolutely. On a spiritual level, I can give a reading, but when somebody's come in and they just want answers to things that the tarot may not be able to answer, you know, like, will I win the lottery, or will someone fall in love with me, and things like that. It's not spiritual level, it's the ego wanting answers, and yeah, that's when it goes flat. But yeah, I really enjoy doing a tarot reading on a spiritual level for people. Yeah, that's where the magic happens. And
Absolutely. After so many years, though, I decided I'm going to screen people. And even if it meant that the store got upset with me, but I would take the person away for a few minutes, the potential client, if you will, and say, what do you hope to get out of this reading? And if they did say something like, well, I just want to know if I'll be happy. Oh dear. I just want to know if I will win so-and-so back, you know, and it's like, well, I'm not the reader for you. I would word that a little bit differently and usher them to the front and for a reading from someone else. But yeah, I don't do superficiality.
yeah.
And that sounds like a judgment statement, and perhaps it is.
Yeah, no, I completely get that. I hope that I've opened some eyes to people when it comes to spirituality, but I think it will come to people when it's their time.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's all part of an evolution. It's all,
Yeah.
you know, and whether we resist it or not, we're evolving. And so, you know, good luck, Charlie. No, I often look at planetary aspects, and by that I mean, for me, the moon, because I'm a Cancerian and apparently ruled by the moon, but more so solar flares. I seem to be horribly affected when the sun has ejected, you know, these horrible things, and I can tell. I could tell because animals or birds are flying erratically. I can feel it. It affects me, and I also can feel mostly and I did joke about this earlier, when Mercury is retrograde, because things go wrong that normally wouldn't go wrong. And to resist that or to deny it, well, you don't have to believe it, but it's there. And I don't like solar flares, Sarah.
Wow. I'm a bit like that with the moon. When we have a full moon, I always feel really drained. Like it's supposed to lift you. I don't know. People always feel like the full moon will give them energy in that, but it's a really draining time for me for some reason.
Interesting. Yeah, with me, with solar flares, it's the opposite. It's like I feel like I've had 100 cups of coffee. I'm all hyper and anxiety sets in, and there's absolutely no reason to. If you step back and it's like, well, why am I feeling anxious? You know.
Mm.
So yeah, it affects me that way, and Mercury retrograde to a certain degree as well. But if I ignore it, it's not affecting me at all on a conscious level. If I'm not aware of when Mercury is retrograde, I couldn't care less. And you know, obviously I was wrong. Mercury will not go retrograde for about a month, and yet electronics are happening for me, or not happening, if you will. How can people contact you if they want a reading?
Via my I have a link on my Instagram, and I have a web page link on there, and yeah, it's not my biggest priority readings at the moment, but it's always there, and I don't push it because I feel if people want to read in, like it will, like the universe will guide them to me if it's meant to be. So I'm not pushing the readings. You know, it's not my number one profession, because it's there. Yeah, it's there when it's meant to, when it's
Absolutely.
be for someone.
Absolutely. Stick around, because Cheryl and I, did you have any questions for Sarah? Cheryl?
No, the one I asked before, how long have you been doing it?
Oh yeah. 25 years on and off. So yeah, I mean, I've had some experiences where it's kind of frightened me a little bit, where like when it can be really, really when the coincidence, when I first started doing it and these big coincidences were happening, it was a bit scary, you know, thinking, well, what doorways am I opening up? But I think it's all about perspective, and that all settled down spiritually. You know, I've gone through, like, I've been a Muslim in the past, so I wasn't doing tarot then. It was deemed as the devil's work, and so there was sometimes I'll have these deep thoughts about what am I communicating with, what, you know. So it's yeah, there's deeper elements to it that I think shouldn't be taken lightly. So, but
Very
also
good.
when you get scared of something, you give yourself the heebie-jeebies at the same time, like you say about the solar flares. If you're not aware of them, it's fine. It's all mind over matter, isn't it? So yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Stick around, Sarah. We're going to try an experiment of the mind.
Okay, good.
And this is not real. This is accomplished through perfectly scientific and natural means. So it's not to be mistaken for anything other than entertainment. But we're just going to deal with hearts, the suit of hearts. I'll give them a good mix. And somewhere within here, I want to find, there it is. There's one card I've made an X upon, and we're going to mix it into the fray. And I'm going to ask in a moment that Lady Chameleon, Cheryl.
Sorry, my dog needs to get on the sofa. He is whining away.
It's all good. It's all good. No one's ever said that before in the middle of a performance. It's all
Sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. So
Sorry.
Cheryl, I'd like you, if you will, to randomly call out hearts, 6 of hearts, 8 of hearts, jack of hearts, whatever, randomly. And wherever it feels right, Sarah, I'd like you to say stop. So go ahead, Cheryl.
Jack of hearts, 2 of hearts, 4 of hearts, 7 of hearts, 10 of hearts, 8 of hearts, 3 of hearts, ace of hearts, queen of hearts, king of hearts, 9 of hearts, 5 of hearts, 6 of hearts, Think about then. 4 of hearts. 3 of hearts.
Stop.
3 of hearts. Does that resonate for you?
Yes.
Excellent, excellent. Now, there was no setting up of anything. We didn't tell you to pick the 3 of hearts in particular, Sarah, is that correct?
That's correct. Yes.
Very good. I'm going to go through, and we found the 3 of hearts there. And I think you can see, it is truly the only card with an X on it. You seem to have picked up at the exact right moment.
Nice.
Stop it. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Wow.
perfect, perfect, perfect. I want to thank you so much, Sarah, for visiting us this day, for being my guest. I hope that wasn't too terrifying.
That's amazing. Thank you. I'll be asking you how you did that.
And you might, and I might say very well, but really, I think there's something else at work. So thank you so much, Sarah.
Thank you so much for having me. It was really, really fun. It's
It
good to
was.
hear from you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I hope you'll tell people about our show, and we'll certainly, when I edit this, I'll put your particulars so people can reach you, Sarah, as well. And then you can choose, you want to do a reading for them or not. So.
Oh, yes.
Very good. I want to thank everybody for sitting through our little time here at Magical People Live. And I want to mention something before we go. We'll say goodbye to Sarah and we'll bring up Tommy. I don't remember if we had, yes, we did have Tommy earlier. Let's bring up Tommy because Tommy has an, thank you for reminding me, by the way, Tommy.
Yeah.
You know this mind of mine.
I was about to.
Good.
I didn't want to interrupt the flow. So yeah.
Awesome. So you have something really exciting coming up in and around Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I do. On the 15th of February, the day after Valentine's Day, but it's Valentine's Day weekend. So it's still under the umbrella of Valentine's, and if for people who are in love, people who don't care about love, people who are single, in couples, snuffles, yuppies, guppies, hippies, and everyone else who loves magic and mentalism. And here is a little, if I can find it, a little video. Oh, wait a minute.
Valentine's Day. World-renowned mentalist Tommy Burnett is performing live in Manhattan at the Fountain House Gallery on 9th Avenue at 48th Street. In his one-man show, Hugs and Kisses, XOXO, a very romantic comedy mentalism show. If you're looking for a unique Valentine date night experience that your loved one will never forget, or just to have a fun time, Tommy Burnett's Hugs and Kisses show has got you covered. Tickets are just $20 in advance, but they are $25 at the door. Visit www.ticketsource.us/Tommy Burnett Productions to purchase your tickets now.
Excellent. And if we can bring back everybody, Cheryl and Tommy and Sarah. Sarah should go to this. She should fly all the way to New York from the UK because it'll be a fun time. You have the particulars, how people can get tickets?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
And even people can do this now. If you've got your phone handy, you can scan the little QR code.
Little
And I
QR
don't
code
know if
down.
you can make it larger or
Yeah.
not, Tommy, but if you can, great.
Or,
If not,
yeah.
I promise I will make it bigger in post. I forgot to do that, but I will do that.
Thank you.
Awesome. Get tickets if you're in the New York City area, even if you're not. You should attend. And it's just my opinion. It's not just because I love Tommy and I respect him and I think he's a genius, really. But he's a genius and you should go see him. He'll make you laugh. He'll make you cry. He'll make you be puzzled at what's going on. He'll make your brain almost explode unless you've got a really tough skull. So I want to thank all of you for joining us this day for Magical People Live. And I hope you had a good time. Did you enjoy that, Cheryl?
Obviously, of course.
Oh, you're right. You're still here.
Oh,
It's a,
excellent show.
it shows
Thank you,
you.
Sarah.
I love it. It shows you how neurotic I am. I expect to turn and look, and it's like, no, you've drawn the shades and you're out of there and whatever. But
Oh.
thank you so much for being my co-host as usual. Thanks to all of you for joining us here. We're here every Saturday at 1 p.m. LA time or Western time, West Coast Pacific time, if you will. 4 o'clock Eastern or New York time, if you will. And 9 p.m. gets late for the UK folks as well. I love you all. Thank you so much for joining us this day. We'll see you soon.